Yo, 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 what's up, everyone? This is Vicente,
And this is Izzy.
and welcome back to another episode of the IV Podcast. Now, you guys been giving us so much love and support. We appreciate it, and we love you all, and we hope you guys like which movie was better, The Dark Knight versus The Batman. I hear a lot of different opinions from both sides, and it's just cool interacting with everyone. And like I said, since we hit 100 subscribers, well, 116 now, that we would give you guys 2 episodes. So now we're getting to our horror side of the podcast, and today's a special treat. Izzy, do you want to say the topic of the podcast?
So the topic of this podcast is our own personal top 5 horror list.
Yep, and this is because usually when we do like a ranking, we always agree, and we're gonna say the same thing, but we want to do something different. We want to refresh you guys. We want to give you a little bit of variety because me and Izzy, we do like some of the same stuff, but we also like different things as well.
Yeah, we want to show you guys, we do have similar things, but we also have our own interests.
Yep, and so let us know what are your top 5 horror movie lists, if you even like horror movies, or even just any movies in general. What are your top 5 of all time? You know, I like different genres, not just horror, but horror would be my number 1, just like Izzy.
Yep.
All right, and without further ado, let's get on with our top 5 horror movie list for me and Izzy. And for me, my number 5 is going to be Tusk from 2014. Now, for anyone that's seen this movie, I watched it. I managed to watch it a few days ago, and I'm just going to say this. This movie got me effed up. This movie is disturbing. Izzy's never seen it. We're planning on watching it tomorrow, and I told Izzy, in full preparedness, dude, you're going to get creeped out. You're going to be disturbed. I don't want to say anything about it. I don't even want to spoil it. This is a movie I recommend. If just go in blindly. It stars Justin Long, who I would say is part of horror royalty. He was in Barbarian. He was in Jeepers Creepers. He's in a lot of good horror movies, but my man Justin Long can't catch a break when it comes to horror movies. But yeah, Tusk, all I'll say about this movie is that it involves walruses, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a dark horror comedy, so yeah, it's funny, but when this movie gets disturbing, it gets disturbing. That's all I'm going to say. And now, Izzy, go on with your number 5.
All right, so my number 5 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Now, this movie overall had a really good balance with comedy and horror, which I love when horror movies do that, because even though it is a horror movie, I feel like they do, depending on the type of movie, they deserve some sort of comedic relief. I really love that. I really love the kids' roles with the movies, and we see the different type of dreams that all the kids have. And out of all the Freddy movies, this one, for me anyways, is the best one. Now, you guys have your own opinions, and I would love to hear it, so drop it down in the comments. But this is like my top tier Freddy movie I can put on, especially when I'm in the mood to watch my Freddy.
And I'll add it as a note. This is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street sequel and movie as well. And this is the only movie to where Freddy is scary, but he's also like comedic too. It perfectly balances it out. But you know, in later sequels, he becomes kind of a jokester. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's nice. All right, and should we move on to our number 4?
Yep, I'm ready to go to 4.
All right, so my number 4 on my list, and this is gonna either shock people or make people go, "What the hell?" So for me, it's gonna be The Terminator. Now, let me just say this. I know the Terminator franchise is just known for action, cyborgs, guns, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't blame you if you were to think it's an action franchise. It is, but any real horror fan, and I have talked to so many others, they will agree that the first Terminator is a horror movie, and that's what James Cameron has said. And I remember I wrote a paper on why I think the Terminator is a horror movie. I managed to convince 35 out of 42 people in a room that the Terminator was a horror movie. It's got great practical effects. The makeup is disgusting as when you see the Terminator's skin start coming off of his body. It's synthetic, not synthetic skin, but like it's organic tissue start coming off his body. That's the word. And then you slowly start to see what the hell's underneath the skin. And it's creepy as hell. And I know Izzy was like, oh, but
Yeah.
it's so cool. I mean, granted, some of the makeup and effects haven't really aged that well, especially with technology now and makeup designs and everything. But this movie, to me, is a masterpiece. And it has another childhood crush of mine, Linda Hamilton, who I will say is one of the most badass female protagonists. And it has Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese. He's a future soldier in the Resistance. Later on, when Skynet takes over in the future, and he gets sent by John Connor, Sarah Connor's son, to protect his mom while she's pregnant with him. But in a twist, it reveals that Kyle Reese is John Connor's father. And so not only does he have to protect Sarah, he also has to protect himself. And the Terminator himself, played by the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, give the Terminator in this movie a hockey mask, and it's Jason Voorhees. Like, this man is on a rampage. He's murdering people left and right. He doesn't give a crap what you think or how you feel. And it's said perfectly by Kyle Reese. And this is a quote from the movie. It doesn't think, it doesn't sympathize, it doesn't feel any emotion, and it doesn't feel pain. And the Terminator will hunt you down until this mission is complete and kills you. If that doesn't spell horror movie to you, I don't know what does. And yes, I know, like I said, the franchise gets more into an actiony franchise, but the first one is always going to be a horror movie, and I will debate with anyone on that. Like I said, give this man a freaking machete and a hockey mask, and it's basically Jason Voorhees. He's unstoppable, and you can't kill him. I mean, you can, but it's kind of a bitch to kill him. And then when you finally see what's under the organic skin that it was disguising itself in, throughout the movie, you know that it's a cyborg, but you don't know what it is. You don't know what the hell the cyborg is. And this is where Izzy kind of got scared too. The stop motion for the Terminator, when we see it in all of its glory, it is so unnerving and creepy, and like, it's giving me chills right now just thinking about it. It's creepy as hell, and I'll always love the Terminator, and I'll always see it as a horror movie, just the first one.
Yeah.
All right, Izzy, you want to announce your number 4?
All right. So my number 4 on my list is Midsummer. So Midsummer is an A24 film that features Florence Pugh, which is one of the first movies that I've seen her in, and since then I have fallen in love with her as an actor. She also does an amazing job in Don't Worry Darling, which is with Harry Styles, and it's really good. But back to Midsummer. So throughout the whole entire movie, it has really good twists and is definitely not what you think it is when you first put on the movie. And especially the ending was not what you were expecting for something with a culture. And the culture is one thing I do want to talk about. You think it's this beautiful, wonderful, flowery cottagecore culture. It's not. It's a cult culture. To flatten it out, and it gets really, really weird by the end of the movie. So just younger viewers, watch out. Definitely don't recommend for younger viewers. Um, but yeah, that's why it's my number 4, because it's so good with all the twists, and it's one of my favorites. So, do we want to get back to our number 3s?
Yep, and I'll start off with number 3. And for number 3, I don't think this will surprise people, but this is the first zombie movie I'm going to mention. And my number 3 is a Dawn of the Dead 2004 remake. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way. I've only seen the original Dawn of the Dead maybe like 2 to 3 times, and I like it. I love Tom Savini in it. I love Ken Foree in it. But I never thought of it as like goofy or anything, but it didn't really age that well. But what gives this remake of Dawn of the Dead the edge is his character himself. You follow a hospital nurse and a cop, and you follow the security guard mall. So the whole movie takes place in the mall, which is probably like a good idea to hold out in. but also bad because you have to keep fighting every day against zombies and other human survivors if it's necessary. But these zombies aren't your run of the mill regular zombies. They're freaking scary. Like, these zombies will run at you full speed. They're not like the Walking Dead zombies or anything like that. They're not slow and dumb. Like, these zombies will fucking run at you
Mhm.
full speed and they will not stop. And even just shooting them or even blowing off a limb is not enough to kill them. And this movie is directed by one of my favorite directors, Zack Snyder, and it's also written by James Gunn, who's also known for directing the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and also he's a new head CEO at DC Studios, which I have mixed feelings on, but that's going to be a future episode. But yeah, I love the makeup effects on all the zombies. I love the story, and every character in this movie that has their own little side story is awesome. Like, I don't think there's one character in particular for this Dawn of the Dead remake that I hated in general. I mean, yeah, some made some stupid ass decisions. Like, there's a scene involving a pregnant woman, and that's all I'm gonna say, and it's very stupid. Izzy knows, she's giving me a look
Yeah.
right now. She knows how stupid that scene is. But other than that, this movie's intense. Like, I remember watching it with my brother Alex and my brother Raymond one time. We were at Alex's house, and this movie scared the crap out of me. I did not think those zombies would be that terrifying. When you got a full ass zombie running at you, yeah, you're dead, dude. Unless you're Asian Bolt himself, you ain't running away from these zombies. They're gonna f you up.
Yeah, they are.
All right. And so, Izzy, get with your number three.
All right, so my number three is one that we've talked on this channel a lot, but it is that good. So the movie I'm referencing is Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving, and I know we've talked about how well she's acted, but with her in the new Scream as well, her acting is just phenomenal, especially when it comes to the horror genre. And a couple things I love about this movie is the great balance between the horror and comedy throughout the movie, especially with the villains. It's really funny. And overall, I really love all the characters, even though they are the bad guys. You get some sort of soft spot for them in their situation. And another heartfelt thing about this movie is I love the horror side of turning a beloved childhood game into this crazy game.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna add in two. I freaking love this movie. I am so mad at myself that me and Izzy never got to see this when it came out in theaters because it is so good. It's so original, and the fact that it's made by the same people that's in charge of this new Scream trilogy, it is amazing. And I remember I told my brother Alex and his wife Sarah, I'm like, check out this movie. And there's an actor in this movie that he loves, Adam Brody. He's like, oh, that's my homie. That's the dude from the OC show back then, you know. But go watch that movie. I love Ready or Not. I know this is Izzy time to shine, but I love Ready or Not too. It's very underrated, and this is gonna be a little controversial take. But people want to say Jenna Ortega's the Scream Queen.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to disagree. Samara Weaving is the Scream Queen. I mean, hell, I think she earned it when she was in the Babysitter movie.
Yeah. Also, if you guys have not watched the Babysitter movies on Netflix, they are amazing.
They're horror comedies.
Yeah.
All right. So for our number two, me and Izzy, when we showed each other our list, we ended up agreeing what our number two was. So you're going to hear our number two is the same one. So you'll hear from both of us.
Yeah.
But me and Izzy's number two, do you want to announce it, Izzy?
Is the original Scream.
And we already covered this. We already talked about this movie so much.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to talk about it anymore. But I will say this: this is the movie that saved the horror genre from dying.
Mm-hmm.
It saved slashers. I mean, yeah, we had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which was supposed to relaunch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Didn't really prove that popular among fans. And then we get Halloween H2O. And it's a nice little relaunch of the series too. But, you know, it just never really had that chance, that moment to shine. But Wes Craven Wes Craven said that this is his baby, that this is the one movie he's so glad he made. No discredit to any of his amazing horror movies that he's made as well, but
Mm-hmm.
he's always said that Scream was just the one. And you got a great cast: Neve Campbell, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, Rose McGowan, Jamie Kennedy, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox, who Wes Craven didn't even want Courtney Cox in this movie because of her role as Monica from the Friends series because she's so nice. But Courtney Cox can be a bitch. She's a bitch in this movie and
Yeah,
throughout
she
the whole
is.
franchise. And I said my piece, Izzy. Do you want to? Let's hear your piece for Scream.
My piece for Scream, I don't know how this wouldn't be my number two. It is such an original idea and movie, and I was really sad I hadn't watched it until I met you, because it has become one of my favorite franchises overall, and this is my number two. You have your iconic killers. You have Sydney, who is an amazing, iconic final girl.
Yeah.
Your face right now, because you know it.
Yeah,
You know it.
Izzy knows. I'm so glad Izzy doesn't get jealous like this. She knows that Neve Campbell is always going to be my crush. She knows that if Neve Campbell were to give me a hug, I would die a happy man right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm. And the whodunit vibe in this movie is done just chef kiss. It is done beautifully.
And I said this before too. The opening scene to the original Scream with Drew Barrymore
Mm-hmm.
and Roger L. Jackson, it is the best opening in any horror movie ever. I don't even think any horror movie will ever top that opening. It's just something about it. It doesn't start off as scary or cliche. It just starts off as normal.
Yep.
Just normal. And then, she finds her boyfriend murdered in the backyard with his guts hanging out. And then you think Drew Barrymore is going to be the star of the movie. But no, she gets brutalized in this movie. I'm trying to watch my language too. I already said a few F-bombs, which I shouldn't have. Sorry, kids. But she gets brutalized in this movie. And then throughout this movie, it makes you think, crap, anyone could get killed in this one.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Now, I'm going to let Izzy go with her number one horror movie because my number one, I'm going to be a little passionate about, and I want to talk about it a little longer. But Izzy, you go ahead with your number one.
All right. So my number one, and if you guys watched our how we got into horror list, this probably won't surprise you, but my number one is Chucky 2. Now the reason it's Chucky 2 is because as you know, I hold the Chucky movies close to my heart, and I do feel that Chucky 2 is the best out of all the Chucky movies.
Babe, it's Child's Play 2.
Child's Play 2.
Before someone gets confused, you guys know what she means, but
you guys know what I mean.
But we don't want to get that one a-hole. Oh, it's me, Child's Play 2. You know what we mean.
I apologize for being inaccurate. All right. So, and one of the things I do love is the story arc between Andy and Kyle and the introduction of their characters, and it is one of the best brother sister bonds in any horror franchise. And it also is my number one because it is a horror movie I feel that I could just throw on and enjoy any day, any time of the day, no matter what. So.
Hell yeah. And I'll add in too that this movie, yeah, I get it. In the first Child's Play movie, you have to build up to Chucky, Charles Lee Ray himself. But in the beginning, we already know who the hell Chucky is. So this movie it takes the action up. You're like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm. And who doesn't love melting dolls?
Yeah, I mean, and Chucky's voiced by Brad Dourif, another horror royalty in the horror genre. I love you, Brad Dourif. You're amazing.
So that's it for my number one. Now, what is your number one, Vicente?
My number one, people that know me well, and you already know what it is.
I do.
But it's going to be Halloween 1978. Now, let me just say this. For a while, I kept debating if Scream was my number one. Just because, yes, I was hyped for Scream 6. And a little bit was because it was the hype that I was like, no, Scream is the best horror movie ever. I like it better than Halloween. And Izzy looked at me and she said, are you sure, babe? I'm like, yeah, why do you say that? She's like, because you love Halloween. You love the character of Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And she even said, "Are you sure it's not just hype?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's not just hype." And I'll always love the original Scream for making me into the horror fan I am and introducing me to horror. But Halloween 1978 is the king of horror movies. The tagline itself for the movie, "The Night He Came Home." What makes this movie so scary is the opening. And this is my favorite second opening in horror history. We literally are in a POV shot. We don't know who it is for the POV shot, but we see him watching what we assume is his older sister and her boyfriend fooling upstairs, la di la la, and he grabs a knife. The boyfriend leaves, and we see the person from his POV go up the stairs and brutally murder his sister. And then the parents come home, and we see that it's a child because the camera pans out. And that's what makes it scary, is that we don't know why this kid brutally murdered his sister. It's so iconic and it's so scary because it makes you think that anyone could be the Shape, as he's referred to in this movie. He is referred to as Michael Myers, but his their nickname is the Shape. And then he gets assigned to a child psychologist, Dr. Loomis. And I feel bad because I literally forgot the name of the actor. But, amazing Dr. Loomis. I love him. But as he observes Michael, we see through archive footage and tapes, he says that the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, that as soon as he saw Michael Myers as a kid, he knew he was just pure evil. There was no motivation. There was nothing. He's just evil. And so throughout this movie, when he escapes from a insane asylum, he hunts down Laurie. We don't know why he does it. We don't know if he's fascinated. And the place it takes place, the city it takes place, Haddonfield, it's a peaceful little town. And so it's scary and horrifying that this one man who didn't want to listen to the law, who just snapped, goes on a killing spree and kills all these teenagers. And he has no motivation. We don't know his motive. We don't know if he's possessed. We don't know if he's supernatural or just a regular human. Now, I know there's Halloween sequels that expand upon some of it, and that's going to be another future video because me and Izzy do want to talk about different universes and timelines throughout the Halloween franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But this first movie makes you wonder, is he really human? Is he supernatural? Is he a demon? What the hell is he? Who is Michael Myers? Who is the Shape? And then in the end, when Dr. Loomis shoots I think 9 times. He shoots Michael Myers 9 times and makes him fall off the balcony. And he goes to comfort Laurie. But as they come to the balcony, they see his body is gone. And then you get the iconic Halloween theme playing, along with police sirens in the background and cameras going to different locations throughout the neighborhood. And you're all like, is he a ghost? What is he? And as much as I love the Halloween franchise, if Halloween ended with just the first movie, that would have been the best horror movie ending, in my opinion. And it also helps when you have Jamie Lee Curtis as the original Final Girl, and another huge celebrity I have a lot of respect for. She plays the hell out of Laurie so good and amazing. And then the Michael Myers actor, damn it, I forgot his name too. It's not Nick Castle. I'm kicking myself. I'm gonna make someone mad. Yeah, but the actor for Michael Myers, you feel a lot of his intensity in that role. When he commits a murder, or even just his body language when he's just observing and stalking Laurie and her friends. And it's shot so well, and it's directed by John Carpenter, he's horror royalty too, horror royalty as well. And I can go on and on about this movie, dissecting the hell out of it, but I love it. I'm going to say this. I do not like the Rob Zombie remake. Okay, I like the first Rob Zombie Halloween film, even though I still think it's kind of pathetic how it's a shot for shot remake. That's just my opinion. But the second Rob Zombie Halloween movie, I promise you, Jared, I'm gonna give it a chance. When I review this series, I'll give it another chance. But I'm letting you know, man. Just every time I try to revisit it, I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? Yeah, and that's why Halloween 1978 is my number one. Not because it's just a typical run in the mill slasher. I mean, it kind of is, but it's the scariness, the realism in it that this little kid just killed his sister for no reason, and we don't know why. It's never explained why he killed her. And then he escapes to go back home, hence the tagline for this movie, The Night He Came Home. And he stalks Lori. Like I said, we don't know why he stalks her. And he just starts killing all these innocent people. And you think he's dead, but he's not. And he just disappears into the darkness. And sorry for the long rant about Halloween. That's Halloween 1978 is another movie I just hold dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. Like it fucking scared the shit out of me as a kid.
It's okay. It's your passion.
Yeah. All right. So that's gonna do it for our top 5 horror movie list for me and Izzy. What are your guys' top 5 horror movie lists? Do you think our list is whack? Do you agree with it? We want to hear different opinions.
Yeah. And just drop it down in the comments. And I'm sorry if any of your information is inaccurate. We're human.
So. Yeah. And this is just a fun little list. This is our fun little personal list. Not risk, list. We're trying to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And remember, we're doing our special giveaway. Watch our Batman episode. I'm not going to say when, but watch it so you know how to enter our special giveaway. We just want to thank you to all of our supporters, listeners, and family. We love you all. The amount of warmth and joy that we get from doing this and just the messages that we receive from friends and family is amazing. And as always, me and Izzy love you all. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves. And we will catch you on the next episode. Peace out, everyone.
Yep. Bye, guys.